she'll rip your tongue out at the seam.
Dead Silence is a 2007 horror film that is directed by James Wan, who, in my opinion, is one of the best directors in the horror genre working today. After his wife's mysterious death, Jamie Ashton returns to his very creepy hometown of Ravensfair to uncover the truth about her murder. Oh, and by the way, Donnie Wahlberg's actually in the movie. The film follows the legend of Mary Shaw, who is a ventriloquist in this town of Ravensfair, who died years ago mysteriously, but they soon uncover that it's because she actually killed a child and the townspeople actually cut out her tongue, and she comes back as a ghost and she basically just fucking kills anybody who is involved with her murder, and if they scream, she cuts their tongue out too. So it's a very cool concept. I wanted to talk about Dead Silence for a while now because James Wan is such a good filmmaker, and it's also a very underrated hidden gem from his filmography for sure. He's got Insidious, he's got the Conjuring franchise, so I didn't want to talk about those movies. I thought about it, they're very good horror movies, but Dead Silence, upon initial release, was actually critically panned. Nobody really liked it. It has a 21% on Rotten Tomatoes and actually bombed at the box office, so it was not a good success by any means. Dead Silence was following the success of Saw from 2004, I believe, with James Wan and Leigh Whannell collaborating on that one together. Dead Silence acted as a insurance policy if Saw financially just didn't perform well. But since Saw did do well and Dead Silence didn't do so well, it kind of launched them further into their career. Thankfully, because we wouldn't have the awesome horror movies that we would have later gotten from James Wan with Malignant, Insidious franchise, Conjuring franchise, and then Leigh Whannell actually directed Invisible Man. He is directing the upcoming Wolfman movie. While I don't think this is a perfect movie by any means, I do think that people should not ignore this movie. With its gothic atmosphere, its creepy dolls, and its obvious homages to supernatural horror movies, this is a great addition to Wan's filmography. My issues with this movie is purely in its writing. I think the basic idea of the story is very interesting, don't get me wrong, but I think the way the plot is executed and the way the characters are executed just kind of fell flat for me. The reason is, every single character in this movie besides Donnie Wahlberg, they are just nothing interesting about him really, especially the main character Jamie. Donnie Wahlberg is by far the most entertaining part of this movie as this over-the-top detective. You could definitely tell he knew what kind of movie he was in. He was taking full advantage of it. Almost every scene he is in, he's got some sort of electric razor and he's just up at a mirror just shaving his face, and I'm like, is this supposed to be like a weird, like, quirky thing that he does? I won't spoil anything about how the movie goes necessarily, but I will say there is a twist ending that did not work for me. I kind of see what the filmmakers might have been going for. They wanted to kind of try to do something different, and I applaud them for that, but it just didn't work. That being said, the positives definitely outweigh the negatives for this movie for me, just because this is a must-watch movie around the Halloween holiday season time. Halloween holiday season doesn't really make sense, but it's a must-watch around spooky season just because the atmosphere, like I said, it just consumes you. James Wan, what I love about his direction and his films, and also Leigh Whannell's films, they lack pretension. A lot of elevated horror that we see now, it's just very, sometimes it can be a little too much. The whole goal for James Wan when he is making a movie, at least in my opinion from what I've seen, he just wants to entertain the audiences. He is very much like Sam Raimi in that way, where he's just trying to make a popcorn flick, but also make a good movie too. And most of the time, he succeeds in that way. James Wan's movies are the type of movies that you could just sit down with a group of friends and watch and just have a great time with. And that is definitely the case here with Dead Silence. You know, you don't have to really think that hard. You just put it on, and then that's it. If you like supernatural ghost movies and creepy ventriloquist dolls, then this is definitely the movie for you. Go check out Dead Silence if you haven't already. If you want a fun time with friends around the Halloween season, it's a good time for sure. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 stars. Thank you guys again for watching. I really appreciate you sticking around for these 31 days. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode of 31 Days of Horror.